It has arrived. The moment that has been quietly approaching you, weaving its way through the background of your life, has now stepped into the light. Whether you've been expecting it or not, whether you've been consciously preparing for it or simply feeling its presence in the subtle undercurrents of your days, it is here now. August 14th is not simply a number on a calendar, not just another sunrise that slips unnoticed into night. This day carries weight, texture, and purpose. It is a threshold, a doorway between what has been and what will be. It is the still, charged pause before the next chapter begins to write itself. The change that has been gathering, sometimes quietly and sometimes with an ache you couldn't name, now stands before you. This is the day when the unseen threads you've been following finally begin to weave into something tangible, when the energy you've been calling in starts to take form. It will not announce itself with trumpets or spectacle. Instead, it will arrive like the slow turn of a tide, so natural you might miss its power if you're not paying attention. The shift is subtle, but its impact will be undeniable. You are stepping into a new chapter, not through a dramatic leap, but through a quiet inevitability, as though your life has been gently but firmly guiding you here all along. This is not just an ordinary moment in the stream of your life. It is a divine pivot point. Imagine the universe standing before you, holding up a mirror, asking with both love and challenge, "Are you ready?" And the answer cannot simply be spoken. It must be lived. It will show itself in the way you stand your truth, in the way you choose your words, in the way you hold yourself when uncertainty brushes against your heart. This is not a day to pass through on autopilot. It is a sacred invitation. The kind of test that doesn't arrive to punish or expose, but to open the way for you to rise into who you were always meant to be. Every choice you make today will send ripples into the unseen waters of your future. Some will be gentle waves. Others may be powerful currents that carry you far beyond the shores you've known. The energy surrounding you now is asking, perhaps even urging, you to let go, to loosen your grasp on the beliefs that have kept you small, to lay down the fears that have weighed on your spirit and clipped the edges of your dreams, to break free from the cycles that have repeated themselves in your life until they became familiar, even when they brought you no joy. This is a moment of release, of shedding skins you've outgrown. The door to your higher self is open, but it will not pull you through. You must choose to walk forward. You must decide that this time you will not let the invitation slip past unnoticed. But here's where the mystery deepens. The divine test does not arrive wearing a crown or dressed in fireworks. It comes in the quiet moments, disguised in the familiar faces of the people who walk beside you in life. It may be the partner whose words land in your heart differently today. It might be a family member whose tone brushes against an old wound. It could be a friend whose glance carries more weight than their voice. They may not even realize they are part of something larger, part of a cosmic choreography written for your growth. What matters is not so much what they say or do, but what stirs within you when they do. The true arena is inside you, where old emotions lie sleeping, where impulses once ruled your responses, where your heart still remembers the places it has been hurt. You may feel the old echoes of defensiveness, anger, or retreat calling you back into their embrace. But this is the choice point. Will you repeat what has been, or will you choose what could be? This day is a mirror for your emotional maturity, a quiet but clear reflection of how far you have traveled on your inner journey. It is not about perfection. It is about awareness. It is about feeling the swell of your emotions without letting them steer you into old storms. It is about choosing presence over reaction, compassion over judgment, wisdom over the easy comfort of what is familiar. Every breath you take today is an opportunity to anchor yourself in the truth of who you are becoming. You are not here to relive the past. You are here to reshape the future. And the beauty of this moment is that it doesn't need to be loud or grand to be life-changing. Sometimes the most powerful transformations arrive like a whisper, like the first rays of dawn that slowly illuminate the world. Today is such a moment. And if you meet it with openness, courage, and the quiet strength of your truest self, it will not just change this day. It will begin to change everything that comes after. Today carries a rare kind of magic, an energy that is not always present in the day-to-day rhythm of life. It's as if the air itself is thinner, the space between the visible and invisible worlds reduced to a delicate veil. This is one of those sacred openings when the whispers of the divine can be heard more clearly. If only you are willing to pause, listen, and truly receive. It may not come as a grand revelation or a bolt of lightning. Instead, it might arrive as a fleeting thought that feels out of place but somehow important. It could be a soft, persistent pull in your intuition, a quiet inner voice nudging you towards something you can't yet name. For some, it may appear in the form of a vivid dream that stays with you long after waking, a dream that feels more like a memory than imagination. Or perhaps it will manifest as a deep, undeniable knowing that seems to settle in your chest without explanation. You may notice old memories surfacing, moments you haven't thought about in years, suddenly vivid and alive again. You might feel emotions that you thought were long resolved, grief you assumed had faded, anger you thought you had outgrown, love you believed was buried under time. Do not be alarmed by these resurgences. They are not here to drag you backward into pain. They are here because the part of you that once could not face them has grown stronger, wiser, and more capable. These are not signs of regression. They are invitations to liberation. When old wounds rise today, they come with a purpose. The universe has a way of bringing hidden emotions to the surface precisely when you are ready to set them free. These feelings are not random. They are the locks that have quietly held parts of your spirit in place. And now, in this moment, your awareness is the master key. By allowing yourself to feel them fully, without resistance or judgment, you loosen the chains that have subtly shaped your choices, your relationships, and your view of what is possible. The universe is not a harsh examiner waiting to see if you stumble. It is a loving guide, leading you into the edges of your own growth. It knows that transformation rarely happens in the comfort of what is familiar. Change is born in those moments when you are stretched beyond what you thought you could bear, when you are nudged into conversations you would rather avoid, choices you have been postponing, truths you have been afraid to face. Even if the energy of this day feels intense, remember, it is happening for you, not to you. There is no cruelty here, only an unshakable faith in your ability to rise. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, every choice you make today carries more weight than usual. It is as though the universe has turned up the volume on your intentions, magnifying the impact of your focus. This is not a moment to move unconsciously through the hours. It is a sacred opportunity to meet yourself at a deeper level than you ever have before. When the sun sets and this day folds into memory, you may not yet understand the full magnitude of what occurred, but something within you will know. You may feel a shift so subtle you can't explain it, a quiet sense of relief, a lightness where heaviness once lingered, or a calm certainty in place of old doubts. Months from now, when you reflect on your journey, you might recognize this as the day you stopped merely wishing for transformation and instead became the embodiment of it. Above all, today calls for trust, not just in what you can see and touch, but in the unseen forces moving through your life. There is a rhythm at work, a divine orchestration that weaves meaning into even the most ordinary of moments. The most profound spiritual changes rarely arrive through grand, dramatic gestures. More often, they emerge in the soft undercurrents, a conversation that leaves you unsettled in the best way, an unexpected pause that gives you room to think differently, a glance from someone that unlocks an emotion you didn't know was waiting. It is in these small, sacred moments, so easy to overlook, that transformation quietly begins. Every shift, no matter how subtle, is the universe speaking in its own language. Today, it is speaking to you. And if you can listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole heart, you will find that this rare energy doesn't simply pass through you. It will change you. It will lift something from your spirit that no longer belongs there. It will open a space within you for what is meant to arrive next, and when that next chapter comes, you will be ready, not because you fought the change, but because you allowed it to flow through you like light breaking through the clouds. You are no longer being asked to wrestle with life, to force it into the shape you think it should be, or to spend your energy trying to manage the choices, moods, or actions of others. That was the old way, the survival-driven way of grasping for control, reacting to every trigger, and living on edge as though the world might collapse if you didn't hold it together. That path is behind you now. The call you are receiving today is a higher one. It is the invitation to step into mastery, not over others, but over yourself, to become the conscious keeper of your own energy. This is about learning to stand firmly in the center of your being, to choose your response from the higher ground of who you are becoming, instead of the shadows and defenses of who you once were. It is not about winning a battle, proving a point, or convincing anyone of your worth. It is about aligning yourself so deeply with the truth of your own soul that nothing outside of you can shake it. August 14th is not just a square on a calendar or another day to pass unnoticed. It is a threshold, an opening, a subtle but powerful spiritual doorway that you are meant to notice and step through consciously. If you cross it with awareness, you will feel a shift, even if you cannot name it right away. Something inside you will loosen, like a lock quietly clicking open. This day carries within it the rare potential to break chains you may have worn so long you forgot they were there. Those chains could be patterns in your thinking, recurring emotional traps, or the quiet but heavy weight of unhealed wounds. The universe has not placed you here by accident. This exact moment has been arranged with care, positioned in your path, so that you might finally meet something that has circled your life for years. And this time, meet it differently. The question is not whether you will be tested. The question is whether you will see the test for what it is. And once you do, will you face it in a way that frees you? Or will you step back into the same old loop? Today's divine test will not arrive as a mystery hidden in strange symbols. It will come in the form of a mirror. And when you look into it, you may see the reflection of cycles you thought you had left behind. You may feel yourself drawn into conversations, conflicts, or emotional states that feel uncannily familiar, almost like a scene you've already lived. That sense of déjà vu is your signal. It is the universe's way of showing you exactly where your soul is offering you the choice to break free. You are being given the chance to write a new ending to a story you've been repeating. The setting may look the same, but you are not the same, and that is the point. And perhaps the most surprising element of all is that this threshold may not be presented to you by a stranger or a distant situation. It may come through the person closest to your heart. They may unknowingly act as a gatekeeper, not because they wish to block you, but because their role is to stir the places within you where healing is still needed. They may press against the walls you've built, challenge the beliefs you hold, or bring up emotions you were sure you had buried and healed long ago. This is not opposition, and it is not betrayal. It is divine choreography. They are not here to stop your progress. They are here to illuminate the last places where the past still has a hold on you. Whether you meet them with old defenses or with new wisdom and love will determine if you pass through this spiritual gateway into a higher version of your life or remain anchored to familiar ground. Think of this day as a spiritual earthquake. It has not arrived to punish or to destroy you. Its tremors come to reveal what has always been hidden beneath the surface. When the ground shakes, the weak points in your foundation make themselves known, and only then can you rebuild on stronger, truer ground. The cracks you see in yourself right now are not signs of failure. They are openings. They are the places where the light has been waiting to pour in, the points where old structures can fall away, so that something more honest and whole can take their place. These are invitations, not condemnations. Invitations to allow truth to rush in and cleanse what is outdated, to finally set down the burdens you've been carrying far too long, to release the old stories that have been quietly dictating your choices. If you can stand in the middle of this shift with your heart open, if you can greet the shaking ground without clinging to what is crumbling, you will find yourself stepping through this day lighter than you entered it. The freedom waiting for you on the other side is not a gift handed to you. It is a state you claim by the way you choose to meet what arises. And if you choose with clarity, with courage, and with love, August 14th will not be just another day in your life. It will be the day the ground shook and you discovered you could stand taller than ever before. The timing of what is unfolding right now is far from random. It is perfectly aligned with the celestial shift we are experiencing. With Mercury moving direct in the sign of Leo, it is as if a heavy veil that has clouded your mind, your conversations, and your decisions is finally lifting. The fog of miscommunication, hesitation, and second-guessing that Mercury retrograde so often brings is beginning to dissolve. In its place, clarity begins to shine through, bright and unmistakable, like the sun emerging from behind a bank of dark clouds. You may find that thoughts you struggled to articulate only days ago now flow with ease. Decisions that felt tangled in uncertainty suddenly appear simple and obvious. The path forward, which once felt hazy, begins to gleam with possibility. This clarity is not merely an accident of timing. It is part of Leo's fiery, regal influence. Leo energy is bold, unapologetic, and deeply connected to courage, creativity, and the authentic expression of the self. This is the cosmic moment to speak openly from your heart, to allow your true thoughts and feelings to have a voice without shrinking back or diluting your truth. It is a time to act with bravery, but not recklessness. A time to make choices that are both bold and conscious, so that your actions reflect the deepest values you carry within. Leo's fire asks you to own your personal power without hesitation, to stop hiding parts of yourself that are meant to shine, and to remember that when you move from a place of authenticity, the world responds in ways that feel almost magical. But there is a delicate balance to hold here, for the same fire that warms and inspires can also burn and divide. Leo's energy, when driven by ego rather than heart, can easily tip into pride, stubbornness, or a hunger to dominate. The challenge now is to channel this fire so that it is rooted in love, not in a desire to win arguments, prove superiority, or protect your image. When courage is anchored in love, it becomes an unstoppable force of creation. It lights up not only your own path, but also the paths of those around you. Yet when courage is driven by the ego's need to be right, it becomes sharp and destructive, severing connections that could have been healed. Today, the universe is attuned to you in a profound way. It is not only hearing your words, it is feeling the vibration beneath them. Every choice you make, every tone you take, every decision to act or remain still is sending out ripples that will shape the days and weeks to come. You are not drifting passively through this moment. You are an active participant in shaping what comes next. If you meet this day with awareness, compassion, and honesty, both with yourself and with others, you will walk through this energetic gateway lighter, freer, and more aligned with your truth than you have been in a long time. Yet there will be temptations. You may feel the pull to react defensively, to wrap yourself in the armor of pride, or to assert your correctness simply because the opportunity arises. This is the natural reflex of the ego, the instinct to protect itself against perceived threats or judgments. But while those reactions might give a temporary sense of satisfaction, they often come at cost, closing doors you would rather keep open, or building walls in places where a bridge could have been built. Such moments might feel like strength in the heat of the moment, but they often leave a lingering emptiness, as though something meaningful was lost in the exchange. The real strength today is quieter and steadier. It is not in the sharpness of your words, but in the steadiness of your heart. It lives in your ability to pause before reacting, to choose patience instead of impulse, compassion instead of resentment, and understanding instead of the need to prove a point. This is not about earning approval from others or passing some invisible test set by the universe. It is about recognizing your own evolution, seeing how far you have come in your ability to stay rooted in your center, even when the atmosphere is thick with tension and pressure. It is about realizing that you no longer need to match fire with fire, because you have learned to tend your own flame without letting it burn out of control. August 14th is not simply a square on a calendar. It is a threshold, a sacred moment where something both within you and around you shifts. And this threshold is not only about stepping forward into something new, it is also about letting go. It is about setting down the heavy stories you have carried for far too long, the ones that have defined you but no longer reflect who you are becoming. It is about loosening your grip on old wounds, outdated identities, and the burdens that have slowed your steps. The real crossing happens inside you. As you release what is no longer needed, you rise, not into someone else, but into the most unfiltered, unapologetic, and radiant version of yourself. This is the deeper invitation of today, to meet clarity with courage, to meet fire with love, and to meet yourself exactly where you are, knowing you are ready to walk through this inner doorway into the next chapter of your life. When the moment finally arrives, you may find yourself caught off guard, not because it bursts into your life with fanfare, flashing signs, or a dramatic soundtrack, but precisely because of its quiet simplicity. It might slip in so gently that, at first, you almost miss it. There will be no booming announcement declaring, "This is the test you've been waiting for." Instead, it might appear as a single conversation that lingers in your thoughts, a tone in someone's voice that strikes an unexpected chord, or a passing comment that somehow cuts far deeper than its surface meaning. It could be an encounter that feels ordinary on the outside, yet leaves a strange stirring within, a pull in your chest that you cannot dismiss. And though it may be subtle, you will know. Somewhere deep inside, a part of you will whisper, "This matters." This is the crossroads. You will recognize it not because it looks familiar, but because something in you feels different. It will be as if a deep, instinctive awareness has awakened, telling you that you've been in a similar place before. But this time, you are no longer the same person you once were. This time, you are more awake, more anchored, more in tune with your own truth. The choice that stands before you will be crystal clear. Will you respond from the old wounds that once shaped your reactions, from the fears that used to grip you so tightly, from the cycles that kept you repeating the same painful experiences? Or will you choose the steadiness and dignity of your higher self, allowing love, patience, and wisdom to be the foundation of your response? What you may not realize in that moment is that it did not arrive without reason. It is not random. This threshold has been forming in the background for a long time, through days that felt uneventful, through months that tested your patience, and even through years that quietly shaped you without your conscious awareness. The universe has been carefully arranging the pieces of your life so that when you reach this point, you would already have the tools, the clarity, and the strength needed to meet it fully. Think back to the signs you've noticed along the way, the repeating numbers that seem to follow you like a private language between you and the divine, the symbols that appeared in unexpected places carrying messages you could feel more than explain, the dreams that stayed with you long after waking. The coincidental conversations that arrived with uncanny timing. These were never accidents. They were threads, carefully woven into your awareness, leading you toward this very intersection. They were gentle nudges, reminders that you have been guided every step of the way, even when you couldn't yet see where the path was taking you. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every ending and beginning before this moment has been a rehearsal for today. Life has been sculpting you, piece by piece, into someone strong enough to stand at this threshold without collapsing under its weight. You have been called to release the versions of yourself that cannot carry you forward, to soften the parts of your heart that once hardened for protection, and to strengthen the voice within you that once doubted its own wisdom. You have been stripped of illusions so you could stand in truth. And now you are not who you were when the journey began. You are someone who can hold this moment without breaking. The gateway before you is not some faraway place in the distance. It is here, now unfolding in the quiet space within your own heart. It does not require you to move mountains to step through. It simply asks for your willingness. And so, the question becomes, will you cross this threshold and step into the life you have been quietly preparing for all along? Will you open yourself to the unknown with the trust that everything you have endured has been preparing you for this exact choice? Or will you remain standing in the familiar shadows of what has already been, holding on to a past that no longer fits who you are becoming? The decision is yours and yours alone. But remember, this moment is not here to test your worthiness. It is here to remind you that you are ready. It is not a random twist of fate, but a doorway you have already been walking toward for years, often without realizing it. Now, as you stand in its presence, the air feels different, charged with quiet possibility. All that remains is for you to choose whether to step through. August 14th will not simply arrive like any other day on the calendar. It is not just another sunrise, another page turning in the book of time. This date holds a frequency, a vibration, a quiet but undeniable power that will ripple far beyond what the eyes can see. Imagine it as a hidden doorway, one that cannot be found in the physical world, yet can be felt deep within the chambers of your spirit. You will not step through it with your feet, but with the most sacred part of you, your soul. This doorway is more than a symbol. It is a living threshold between who you have been and who you are ready to become. You might not hear a trumpet's call or see bright neon lights telling you, "Go now." Instead, you may feel an almost imperceptible stirring within, as if the universe itself leans close, so close you can feel its breath and whispers, "It's time." And though the world around you might carry on as usual, you will know, because the pull inside your heart will be unmistakable. It will not be a push born of urgency or fear, but a gentle, steady invitation to step into a version of yourself that you have been quietly preparing for, perhaps without even realizing it. This moment is not about rushing forward, proving yourself, or ticking off some invisible list of worthiness. It is about arriving, fully holy, into a space where the past no longer chains your spirit. Yes, the echoes of old wounds, patterns, and doubts may still try to speak. They might murmur, reminding you of times you stumbled, of the fears you once carried. But their voices will begin to fade, replaced by a deeper, truer sound, the voice of your soul calling you toward freedom. As you approach this threshold, you may feel a swirling of emotions. Excitement, because something within you knows there is more ahead than you've yet imagined. Grief, because stepping forward always means leaving something behind. And a strange, almost weightless sensation, as if invisible chains are loosening, and you can breathe a little more deeply than before. This is the crossroads where courage matters more than certainty, and where trust, true open-hearted trust, becomes your most precious companion. When you finally step through, you might look around and think that nothing much has changed. The same roads will stretch before you. The same people may still cross your path. The same daily responsibilities might greet you each morning. And yet you will know. Something inside you will have shifted in a way that is irreversible. There will be a stillness in you, not the stillness of resignation, but of alignment, as if you have stopped pushing against the river of life and have begun to move with its current. What once confused you will feel less tangled. The noise of fear will fade to a distant murmur, replaced by a steady, quiet hum of knowing. Decisions that once felt heavy will seem lighter, falling naturally into place as if the universe itself is laying the stepping stones before your feet. And from this inner shift, life will begin to rearrange itself around you without force. Some relationships will blossom into deeper authenticity, while others will quietly dissolve because they no longer match the frequency you are now living in. Opportunities will appear almost eerily on time, as though they have been waiting patiently for you to be ready. Even challenges will carry a different weight, not as looming threats, but but as purposeful stepping stones that expand your wisdom and strengthen your faith. This will not simply be the first page of a new chapter. It will be a rebirth. You will not be bound by the shadows of your former self. You will carry the lessons, yes, but without the heaviness that once made them burdens. You will be free, not just in thought, but in spirit, to create, to move forward, to exist without the constant tug of old fears. And in that freedom, you will discover something beautiful. The life you once believed was far away, hidden behind years of struggle or waiting, is already here. It is forming itself in real time around you as you walk forward in trust. After the shift, you may notice that the world begins to speak to you in a new language, a language you feel rather than hear. The universe will start leaving you gentle breadcrumbs, guiding you forward. Perhaps you will see repeating numbers that catch your eye at just the right moment. Perhaps a song will play with lyrics that seem to answer the exact question on your heart. Dreams may become so vivid that you wake up feeling you've been somewhere real. Or maybe a stranger's passing comment will carry the precise message your soul needed to hear. You might enter a place you've never been before and feel an overwhelming sense of familiarity, as if some unseen hand led you there for a reason. These are not accidents. They are divine confirmations, little nods from the universe reminding you, yes, you're exactly where you are meant to be. Keep going. The more you recognize these moments, the more they will appear. They are not just signs. They are threads of trust being woven through your life, connecting you to something greater. They are evidence that you are never truly alone, that there is an unseen intelligence lovingly shaping your path. All you need to do is keep your heart open enough to see them and to receive them. The more you honor these moments, the more magic will quietly seep into your everyday life. And there is one more truth to acknowledge. Someone in your journey has been intertwined with this transformation. Whether they continue walking beside you or fade into the distance, they were never a random presence. Their soul made a silent agreement with yours to play a role in your becoming. They may have challenged you, pushed you, or even wounded you, but they were not here to destroy you. They came as a mirror, sometimes clear, sometimes distorted, showing you the parts of yourself that were ready to be seen, healed, and loved. Through them, you have glimpsed both your deepest vulnerabilities and your fiercest strength. Through their reflection, you have been able to confront wounds you had long avoided, but also to witness your own resilience, your capacity to love beyond pain, and your readiness to rise. And in that rising, you have crossed the threshold into the life you were always meant to live.